stop it right here. You see that smile? How about this one? Yeah, that's more like it. Here at N, we have some cars that can make you want to put your foot down on the pedal, look for the double curve sign, and hear the roar. But creating N cars is no simple feat. You gotta have the perfect chassis, the perfect engine, the perfect brake system, the perfect transmission that shifts gears not too late or not too early, but at the perfect timing, the perfect suspension that is not too soft or not too hard. The steering wheel has to be consistent and accurate at all times. The driving logic has to be perfect. The geometry setting must be on point. The aerodynamics, the cooling, the list goes on. And plus, it has to look great. And sound perfect. So how does N make cars just like that? Well, welcome to the RM project. In 2012, at Namyang R&D Center, a group of passionate car geeks volunteered to make something special. More precisely, to turn their dreams of high performance into reality. And it was not exactly a walk in the park. It was more like race in some of the most fierce motorsport competitions, learn everything there is to know about high performance, and try a lot more times, again and again. The key was to apply those learnings to N models so that you can feel those motorsport technologies when driving N cars. And if you ever made a performance car from scratch, that meant only one thing: a lab where you can test, develop, and verify technologies, all while having fun. So that's what we did, with a rolling lab, which evolved to this lab, then to this lab. Unlike other so-called concept cars, the RM project is not just a one-off display of exterior design. As a matter of fact, we stick to the Veloster's hatchback body because it allows the midship powertrain, the perfect setup to test high-performance technologies for the future N cars. To name just a few, the ELSD, which makes that unique N-corner carving differentials, was tested and verified by RM16 and applied to the i30N. And the 8-speed wet DCT with RM19 for every N car on the road right now. But it's more about the evolution of technology through the RM project. Since RM15, the famous N sound, which you can feel from the inside and the outside, has been developed from the exhaust sound design based on the motorsport sound. So, if you're looking at an RM prototype, you're actually looking at the future of N. Speaking of the future, let's ask Albert Bierman. Mr. Bierman, so, what is the future of N?
Yeah, so the sustainable high-performance car.
So yeah, there you have it, the sustainable future of N, the RM20E. But before I talk about RM20E, I have to tell you how it was born. RM20E was developed together with RM19 under the same philosophy, a race car on the road. RM19 and RM20E are actually based on the racing cars Veloster N TCR and E TCR. And this is how we tame the beast and make it more road legal. RM19, for example, we take the Veloster N TCR, relocate the engine position, turning it into a racing midship. Then we add passenger seats, RM DPS, partial cage, reinforced chassis, and double wishbone at the rear. For the final touch, we add driver convenience features to reduce noise and vibration and to increase stability and aerodynamics. And there you have a race car on the road. So, why develop RM20E and RM19 together? Why make an engine car and electric car at the same time? The answer is the efficient and optimized R&D process. With RM19, which has the traditional engine, we push the limits of body and chassis aerodynamic performance for the purpose of transferring those proven technologies from RM19 into the RM20E. In the meantime, with RM20E, we focused on the electric powertrain and cooling technologies for maximum performance. A genius plan, huh? So, how did we pull this off? TEAMWORK. Everybody chipped in. And I mean everybody. We have the Namyang R&D Center, researching and developing. Then you have Hyundai Motor Europe Technical Center for testing the cars on the legendary Nürburgring. And despite their busy schedule with winning titles, Hyundai Motorsports provided their motorsports technologies and know-hows. So, big shout out to everybody. And as a result, voila, the birth of electrifying RM20E. RM20E is the first step into the era of electrified N. and it represents a revolutionary new chapter of electrified N performance. The RM20E can crank up the total max power of 592 kilowatts and a whopping 960 newton meters of torque. That's the equivalent of over 800 horsepower. Thanks to the 800V high voltage system, it can be charged up to 80% in about 30 minutes. But here at N, we understand the numbers never add up to emotions. We know there are plenty of car people who love the heart-pumping exhaust sound and the gear shift feel, just like you and just like us. That's why RM20E is engineered with the sound amplifier to roar according to your driving input. And you can feel that sound not only inside, but also the outside. And there are more features to make that grin on your face. I can't reveal everything yet, but it's under development for a better interaction between car and driver. N's iconic carving feel will be enhanced by VCU, which controls the explosive power and guarantees the traction for you. And perhaps, for a first ever, N drift maybe? This really is just the beginning of a new era. The story of electrified N is just starting to unfold. And did I mention we are also developing fuel cell electric powertrains? Well, that's a topic for another N day. Until then, we are gonna keep rolling with the Rolling Lab.